Hey guys, Jim here. Time to share with you now a knife that I've had in my possession for a couple of months now, and just haven't had a chance to sit down and make enough videos and get around to doing this. And I was actually contemplating waiting a little bit because having a second one built. It's being built right now. As a matter of fact, my blade just got finished. What this is the Darrel Ralph Dominator. This is one of Darrel's full customs. It's not one of the mid-tech knives. And there's sometimes some confusion there because he does both. He's been doing HTM knives for God knows how long. Now he has split from HTM and he's now going to be producing his own series without a partner, his own series of mid-tech and production knives. But this is one of his customs. And this is to date my favorite Darrel Ralph. I've owned a few Darrel Ralphs. Started with a gun hammer, went to the tactical stiletto. I've had a few of his knives, but this one really, really does it for me. Number one, the reason I like it is there is a shit load of blade packed into this handle. First, we look here, and you see that he's taken up as much of the handle as he could without risk of the tip slicing into your finger. You'll also notice quite a bit of the blade protrudes out from the very large handle. And what that produces is a massive, huge ass blade. It's a well-balanced knife. It's actually surprisingly easy to carry. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, it's big. The blade is just under 4 inches. Now you'll look at some dealers because what they're doing is they're measuring from the frame to the tip, which is really how you're going to measure your blades anyway. And it's just about 3.8 inches. Darrel calls it 3.95 inches because he's going back, I believe, to the pivot area, the full length of the actual blade. But that's not really what we're going to consider when we're looking at the knives that we carry. We're looking at the exposed blade length. This thing is a rocket. It's smooth and it's just fucking delicious. Mine is one of the early Dominators, and right now Darrel is taking orders. He is shipping out new Dominators, and he does them in different levels. The top level, which I think is level 4, would be like, you know, full Mokutai, full Damascus with a Damascus blade. He's done some which are rather intriguing, where you had a raindrop Damascus blade and the entire frame was done in raindrop Damascus. It really was stunning. It's a bit over the top for me, which I know is hard to believe, but it really is beautiful. Mine was, I believe, the second or third to get a compound grind. Mine was the first to get a Mokutai clip. I'm really loving this knife. There are so many reasons to love it. Number one, it's just a big, beefy, tough knife. Like I said, you've got just under 4 inches in that blade, yet it's still a fairly compact knife in the hand and in the pocket. When you hit the jimped flipper tab, it just comes rocketing open. He is using a cage bearing system, so it's nice and smooth, super fast. I just had him do a quick tune-up on mine, so it's not broken in again before, and you guys can see the videos I've done on Instagram. I can just do that, and the blade would just drop right back into the handle. And it'll do so again probably in a week or two when it's broken back in. But I had a chance to go out to Darrel's shop. Now that I live in Texas, and he's only about an hour from me out in Forney, I had a chance to go hang out in his shop and happened to bring the knife with me, and he tuned it up for me really, really quickly. Look at the finish work that's been done here on the 6AL4V titanium frame. Beautiful satin finish. You've got the bead blasted matte finish inside of the milled slots. Nice big titanium backspacer. He gives you a very, very large opening for a lanyard. You could fit 3 friggin' lanyards in that thing. He gives you a lot of room in there. And there is the finish work on the lock side. Nice looking lock bar cut out too. What he's done here is he's given you that type of workhorse knife that's a slab-sided knife, fairly blocky, but he's contoured every edge so that it's actually a little bit more comfortable in the hand. Aside from the edge on the blade, there are no sharp edges. Anything that you touch on this knife is going to be nicely rounded, contoured, and comfortable for the hand. Now, he has done some finger relief here, but again, he's keeping everything with a very straight line. So there's no real curves or rounded things going on here. So it's just kind of cut in a little bit. Great area for your finger. There is a little bit of area up here to choke up on. There is no choil. He did not hammer off the backside of the edge there, so you would want to be careful if you wanted to choke up on the blade. Keep in mind that sharp edge. He will put a little choil in there if you want to. If you're placing your order and you say, hey, you know, I'm doing a lot of very fine cutting tasks and I tend to choke up a lot and got a really fat index finger, can you do me a favor and put a little choil in there? I know that he will do so. Take a look here and you can see his custom pivot. I don't recall ever seeing him build a knife with a standard pivot. I think everything I've ever seen from his shop has always had a customized pivot. Another thing that I really like about this, and I've seen this lately in a couple of the knives that I've purchased, is the completely hidden away blade stops. So there's your blade stops right there that stop it in the open position and stop it in the closed position, and they just completely disappear within the frame. And it'll do so again on that side. Completely gone, and it's a really nice clean look. Another nice thing that he did on this one, and I don't know if this is standard or if he just did it for me, I'm very certain that it's a standard finish. On the interior of the frames he did a nice jeweling. It's going to be a little bit hard for me to pick up with my new lighting here, but there you can see the jeweling inside of the frame. So it's got a couple little touches that make it a little bit ornate. Again, the Mokutai clip certainly does that. But it really is just this great, everyday, tough-looking, mean, slick knife. Now, the one he's building for me right now, which should be done probably in about a week, and I'll most certainly do a video on that, I chose to go full Mokutai handle on both sides, and we're using a Stellite 6K blade, and he's going to do a very nice two-tone finish on that. I've always wanted a Stellite knife, and I can't get my hands on the few makers that work with Stellite. Whenever they do something, it's gone really quick, and then it goes up 3 times in value. So when he told me he was getting a shipment of Stellite in, I said, oh, please make me a Dominator in Stellite. And I'm probably going to end up owning 4 or 5 of this knife in different configurations, just because it's one of the very few knives. You know, I put that up there with my David Mosier Crossfire, my Frank Fisher Battle, my Todd Begg Bodega. It's one of the very few knives that when I carry it, I'm addicted to it and I want to carry it again the next day and the next day. A lot of times I'll switch out my knife once or twice throughout the course of one day. When I put this in the pocket, it stays there all day and it tends to be in there the next day again. It's just one of those knives that I can't stop playing with. I can't stop fondling. For my particular hand size, it fits my hand like a glove. It fits me completely perfectly. It's got a nice feeling in the hand. The action is incredible. I love just sitting there flipping it, and I love listening to that really loud thwack because it's a big ass, heavy ass blade. Now this particular blade is S35VN. And that's what you'll commonly get. Now, when you go to place your order with Darrel, you can request pretty much anything. If he can get it or if he has it, he'll do it. Again, doing Stellite 6K, he's doing a lot of Damascus right now. I've seen 2 or 3 different patterns of Damascus. I'm blown away. It's one of those knives that it kind of sometimes leaves me speechless. The grind is beautiful. Nice compound grind, nice clean lines, nice top swedge. Now again, this one has been carried a bit. You're going to notice a little bit of wear and use on the blade. Oh, but Jim, we never see any use on your blades. You don't carry your knives. Yeah, actually I do, fuckers. So I just know how to take care of my shit, and I clean up my shit before I do a video. But yeah, there's a couple little scratches on there. But this has turned out to be one of those knives that I rely on heavily. As a matter of fact, when I was making my move out here to Texas, this ended up getting used quite a bit for cutting down boxes and shit like that. It's still got a great edge. There were a couple of things that I asked him to change immediately when he first did the knife, and that's when he did some touch-ups. I guess we could call it jimping if you want, but the machine notches here in the lock area, they were super crazy, ridiculously sharp. I mean, like, you could just do this and it would want to cut your thumb open. But again, Darrel, like most other knife makers, especially one that's been doing this for 30 years, his fingers are dead. I mean, he doesn't feel that shit. So I said, yeah, they're those, it's like teeth. They're super crazy sharp. He's like, all right, well, when you get moved out here, bring it by and we'll soften that up for you. And he did a great job. It's still just bitey enough that I can feel it, but it's not digging into my finger or tearing up my thumb. The other thing, when you go to buy yours, the pocket clip is going to be in a different orientation. The early models came out like this, where you had a good solid inch from the butt of the knife to where the clip began. Then you have about another ½ inch here. So you actually have this much sticking up out of the pocket. Me, I love that because that gives me plenty to grab onto. I don't feel the need to keep a lanyard on this. I have put a lanyard on it, on and off, but I really can very easily draw this from the pocket. He is making it slightly more deep carry. I think he's bringing it back about ½ inch. So you're going to get a little bit more down inside the pocket. So if you're one of those people that just freak out about it, it will be lower. And also, if you make the request, hey, I want a super deep carry pocket clip because I like to struggle to pull my fucking knives out of my pocket, he will make your clip however you want it made. So just make sure to specify that if you're placing an order. Here's the deal. He's obviously got these out at a lot of dealers, but buying direct for me is usually the best way because you can get your little customized touches and do a few different things here and there on the knives. He's been doing a special on his level 1, which is the most basic of them. And I think he did, and I don't know how long that's going to last. I mean, if you're watching this video anytime after this week, we're 2 weeks out from the Blade Show 2015. It's May 27th. Don't hold me to this, but right now I think he's doing them for $675 on the base model. Mine was $975, set up like this with the all satin finishes, with the compound grind, with the Mokutai clip, and the finishing on the inside of the frame. So this was the normal price. It was $975. Right now he's doing them for like $300 off for the base model to get people into it, because I think really people aren't used to seeing something brand spanking new from Darrel. He really relies heavily on his classics, and for good reason. I mean, you look at the Expendables AXD, the one that was in the Expendables movie. Everybody wants that. And he's had so many orders for it, he almost had no time to develop anything else. Well, that's really true, because this was not developed recently. This was developed like 10, 15 years ago, and he just now got around to making a custom of it. So what you're seeing here is like a 1990s or early 2000s design that he did, obviously modernized a little bit, and it just, I don't know, it blows me away. I love the jimping. It locks my thumb in place without tearing shit up. It's got this just massive, beefy-ass blade. Every single time I have opened this up in front of anybody else, whether they were a knife person or not, and I did that, they went, holy shit, that's a huge blade. It really is. It is monstrous. And it's almost hard to believe that it gets stuffed into that handle. Oh, look at that thing. I really don't think this is one that's going to translate as well on video as it does in person. It's one of those knives that when I saw him make it, when he was making the prototype, I said, oh man, it's a great design. I definitely want one. I got it, and it blew me away. It was 5 times greater than I expected it to be. And like I said, it's become kind of an addiction or an obsession. I just want to sit there and play with it and carry it and have it on me at all times. I don't experience that a lot these days. And I don't know that it's that I'm more jaded, or I'm just really comfortable in the collection that I have, and I like to cycle through different knives, every single day. Whatever the case may be, I found myself actually stopping and going, wow, I'm strangely addicted to this knife. Oh, let me show you one more cool thing. This is something else that he does. I just picked this up while I was at a shop the other day. This is his Skull Punch. This thing is utterly ridiculous. So what you've got is a monstrous, ginormous, huge carved skull. You guys know I'm into skull shit, of course. But then there's this titanium spike, and they're all different. Everyone's a little bit different. I chose the spike variation. He has some that are like little scoops. This thing is stupid sharp. I really don't know that I would ever carry this in a fashion where I would have it on me at all times. But I have certainly tossed it in the car already. I might just keep this in my office for just kind of a cool conversation piece. But he's designed it in such a way that, I mean, the skull fills up a good portion of your hand, kind of packs your fist. And if you go in, oh my God, this thing is just going to go right through somebody. So yeah, be careful if you get one of these. They are stupid sharp. But it's just a cool little accessory piece. Something that, you know, may not actually provide any usefulness in your life, but it's a cool conversation piece, something to keep around, keep on your desk, keep away from the kids, keep away from your obnoxious friends that when they get drunk they put things in their assholes. This might not come out as easily as it goes in. I don't know. You could be like a little butt plug, it'll just kind of stay there, right? That makes it safe, right? Maybe that's what Darrel had in mind. It's got a nice plug at the end so it won't go in any further. No, kids, don't do that. You'll probably die. Anyway, so I just want to show you that. I thought that was a really, really bitchin' little accessory piece. And get that out of the way. So anyway, you're going to see another video in about 2 weeks or so, probably right after I get back from the Blade Show. I'm hoping it's going to be done by then. And I tell you, if you ever get a chance to even hold one, if you're not in the market to buy one, if it's a little bit more money than you want to spend, totally get that. But if you ever get a chance to pick up one, he's going to have several at the Blade Show with him. There are plenty of dealers that have them, and lots of people have started buying them. So maybe you've got a friend that owns one. Play with it. Maybe ask him to let you carry it for a day. And I tell you right now, it will absolutely grow on you. It's one of those knives. I mean, it's like when I first got my Hoback. There was something about that big, beefy, thick, blocky, big sumbitch that I fell in love with. It's a lot like Alpha Hunter's Warhorse. You know, it has that big blocky look, and you know, it's not particularly ergonomic, but everybody that's got one is absolutely massively in love with it. And keep an eye out on my channel. You'll see a Warhorse video this year. I've been on Chad's list for 2 years, and he's finally getting his new Warhorse production up and running. There's going to be a couple that he's going to have with him at the Blade Show 2015, so if you see him, go by and take a look. I think there's a gold and a purple one. There may be more by that time, but you'll be seeing that video on my channel as well. Anyway, I'm going to go for now. This ran longer than I expected it to. I'm trying to trim my video work down just a little bit. I want to try and keep them around 12 to 15 minutes, but this one kind of ran over. Like I said, it's a knife that I do truly love. It's one that's fun to carry. It's fun to watch people's faces when you whip it out and you flip it open and they're like, holy shit, that is a massive ass blade. I think Darrel has really, really outdone himself. I'm floored. And it's not often that I'm out here speechless and don't know what to say. But this is absolutely one of those times. And that's after having a couple of months to spend with it. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here for now. Thank you guys for watching as always. And I'll catch you on the next video.